we're going to start with someone who's not here. We don't have a representative today for ACP, but what I want to do is welcome you to a very robust security community here in Austin. We have a plethora of opportunities for you. You probably can't make all of them, but the membership in each of them has value, and we'll get into that with each of the groups. One of the groups who was not able to be here today was ACP, the Association of Contingency Planners. That I have been a member in the past of that group, and basically they're focused on the recovery of business capability and DR efforts. One of the big things that from a security professional standpoint is they are the holders of BIAs. Who knows what a BIA is? Anybody? Business impact analysis. Oh, we got one. Somebody actually recognized. Good. Business impact analysis identifies the systems, the dependencies, and the owner of that system, the person you need to talk to find out, what's going on, what their needs are, what their security issues are. That would be the point of contact. So it's a good source of information for all of the other aspects of security. Next up, I'd like to introduce Peter Voigt with the Cloud Security Alliance, and he will give us some information about that group.
Hi, everyone. So for those of you who may not know the Cloud Security Alliance, we've been around for now a number of years. It's global. We have over 100,000 members. It doesn't, there's no fees involved in joining the Cloud Security Alliance. So we kind of resurrected the Austin chapter earlier in the year, and we are meeting monthly. We have about 475 members in our meetup, about 3,000 on our opted-in listserv. Our next meeting is on, all of our meetings now are held at Amazon in the domain. They've got multiple meetings there, multiple buildings. Very nice facilities, obviously brand new as everything is in the domain. Our next meeting is November 9th. Our meetings are typically 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning to 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Lunch and learns, we always, all the meetings are free. We provide lunch. The November 9th meeting is on the GDRP regs that go into effect. The European General Data Protection regulations that go into effect on May 18th, 2018. So it's a training session. And then after that November session, we will reconvene in January, and we'll have our full-day conference also at Amazon in March. That's pretty much it. The main site is csa.org, our meetup site. You don't have to join our meetup to come to our meetings. Basically, if you want to get onto our listserv, just let me know, and we will not publish any notices more than once a month. There's no marketing. It's just purely educational. And then we're going to try to work with some of the other chapters to provide information on some of the other events that are going on here in the greater Austin area.
Okay. One other item, the CCSK is a cloud security knowledge certification that CSA developed, and also in conjunction with ISC Squared, they have the cloud security professional certification. So moving on to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and take it away.
So EFF Austin is the local electronic civil liberties advocate and education organization. We focus on helping people know what the current status is of their various civil liberties in our monthly meetings. We've been pretty successful for 25 years doing that. We recently have decided to expand our role to get more involved in the political side of life, because the political side of life is coming to us. For example, this legislative session, there was a session on cyberbullying. For anybody in this room who hosts a service that has people on it, there's cyberbullying that takes place, and laws are being written that will affect you here in Texas. There are laws being written about cybersecurity that were signed by Governor Abbott this session. There are laws being written about drones and how they cover your facility and what is the rights of people to fly over your land. There's also, on a personal basis, the issues of warrantless cell phone searches. That a police officer, for example, can deem a phone stolen on his own recognizance and believe that he can then open it for a warrantless search. These are all important issues at various levels for our businesses and our personal society. And so we think that this community should be getting involved with the politics, and that's why we are trying to expand into that role. But primarily, let's remember that we're about fun. We also have parties. We are known for our South by Southwest party. We're also known for the arts and other digital culture activities. So we're expanding into a broader array of things. We'd love to have you come join us. I believe our meetings are the second Monday of every month up at Capitol Factory. You can find us on Facebook or on meetup.com. So anyway, come on down and join us, be a participant in our digital culture, and we'd like you to also consider supporting us in the political realm. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And we will move on to ISACA, and we have with us Sharu Pell, and if you can take it away.
Thanks, guys. So ISACA stands for Information Systems Audit and Controls Association. We have been around from 1969, and that's been a history. I don't know how long we have been in Austin, but we have a membership of around 700 plus. It fluctuates between 700 to 1,000. And on an average, our crowd for every meeting is between 60 to 80 people. We meet in Austin, in downtown, basically, so that it's convenient for the South as well as the people from the North to visit. And our calendar is pretty simple. First Tuesday of every month, we meet together. Traditionally, ISACA is known by certain certifications like CISA, CISM, which is a Certified Information System Auditor or Certified Information Systems Manager. But in addition to that, recently there is an addition of C-RISC and CSX and CJIT. And out of that, I'll just like to mention about CSX. And CSX is like we're trying to get into the space of cyber security. And kind of like, looks like when you look at CISA, CISM, traditionally these are like focused on process-oriented approach to the security. And looking at the COBIT, which is a foundation of ISACA, we own that document. It's a very huge, basically, according to me, but still we try to preach that and implement within the organization. So another good foundation of our organization is the focus on risk management, which is, I think we all know here, irrespective of what we do, it always starts with what's the risk in it and why should we do it. That's the place we start. We don't need to do a lot of things if we don't perceive risk over there. So C-RISC is a focus on that area, tries to look into that aspect. And addition to that is CJIT, which is really governance side of it. We are all been focusing on the downside of it, like, hey, what's happening? What are the vulnerabilities? What is patching? But today, you know, the board of directors wants to know what's happening on the side of security. They are asking questions to the CEOs and CFOs, and they want to preach governance side of it a lot. They want to know that visibility as to what's happening down there. So that's where our CJIT comes into place, tries to focus on the governance side of it, and you are able to write reports or even create a documentation. I can go back to all the way to Sarbanes-Oxley compliance, which is also more focused on the governance side, full visibility to the management. That's our focus. Coming back to our membership, guys, you're free to join. There is nothing like that. We have a nice place where we meet together. We have a lunch. Even though we are speaking about CISA, CISM, our topics are very wide. We have good speakers, not necessarily in the line of audit. They are mostly outside our regular work, basically. So we get the people who speak different languages or speak about the hacking and all those kind of things. So it's really diversified crowd there. And most of the people who are CISSP or other discipline, they are the members of CISA or ISACA too. Thank you, Don.
Pass the mic to Bart, please. Yeah, I'm a member and have spoken at the Austin Women's, where do you meet?
Yeah, Austin Women's Club.
Austin Women's Club. And it's a good group of folks. You'd be pleased to be part of that. And Bart, as the president of the ISC Squared chapter here that meets at Indeed.
Yes, correction though. I'm not the president. I'm the membership chair.
Ah, okay.
So, if you want to become a member of ISC Squared, you can come talk to me. ISC Squared very shortly is short for IISSCC, and IISSCC is short for International Information Systems Security Certification Consortium.
ISC Squared.
ISC Squared for short, yes. That's the most interesting thing about our organization. No, just kidding. So, what do we do? Here, our local chapter, we try to organize events that appeal a little bit to everybody. We try to be the overarching discipline group. There's a little bit of business continuity in ISC Squared. There's a little bit of about physical security in ISC Squared. There's a little bit about system security, a little bit of programming, or application security. There's a little bit of everything, including some governance and some how you tie all of those little pieces together. It's more a broad-based organization. Our meetings tend to be sponsored, and we try to focus a little bit more on technical topics. Occasionally, we have a little bit of a more high-level talk, but everybody's welcome. It's every second Monday of the month at the Indeed campus on 360 and 2222. And Indeed always generously provides food and beverage, and everybody's welcome. And if anybody's interested in our membership, it's no cost, and you can come and see me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And you may not know, but of course, the CISSP is one of the certs that ISC Squared started this whole project with. But they have a CSSLP that is focused on the security, the folks in the development lifecycle. So that's, for those who are not security professionals but care about app development. And speaking of app development, that takes us to OWASP.
Hello. Excuse me. Hello, everyone. I'm Tiana Chandler. I am the chapter leader for OWASP Austin. And OWASP, if you haven't already known, it stands for Open Web Application Security Project. It's an international foundation where there's a lot of chapters all over the world, and it's open and very. It's an open organization to where we do not charge for any attendance to any of the meetings or using any of the materials and documentation that OWASP provides. There's quite a few projects that you've probably already seen some of the presentations here today talking about those. For our chapter, we do have our monthly meetings that is currently at National Instruments on the last Tuesday of every month. We do also conduct study groups, which we try to have those every week at Thursday, also at National Instruments. And as far as training goes, we have been considering and maybe looking this next year coming up having some quarterly trainings that we're going to offer. And as far as funding goes, even though we do not charge we do not require membership to come to our chapter meetings, we do encourage membership to give back to the community, but we fund our monthly meetings and such for this conference here at LastCon. And that also helps pay for all of our expenses for the following year. So we really do appreciate everything that y'all have coming here today, or coming your last couple days here and supporting us.
One other item, a lot of the national leadership has come from this chapter and leaders of various projects. So it's a very credited group. And we have a guest in our midst, Longhorn lockpicking. Doug, please introduce your group.
Sure. I think that was a a large selection of professional organizations, and we're more of a social organization here in Austin. We've been around for about 11 years. We meet twice a month at the Spider House Cafe and on Saturday nights. And if you're interested in breaking into the security field, physical security is kind of a very important aspect of that, especially if you're interested in doing some red team or penetration testing, that kind of work. So, I mean, the name says what we do. We sit around and we drink beer and we pick locks, and it's generally a pretty good time. So. Where do you meet? Spider House twice a month, first and third Saturdays of the month.
Okay, another group, Mono Paul was not able to join us. He's the president of the group called Hackformers. And they are having a November meeting, hackformers.org. You can find the information on that. Is also available Twitter, so and LinkedIn. So Hackformers focuses on it's a group of believers who are also in the security profession, and so they teach security, teach Christ, and teach security in Christ. And any questions, you can talk to either Larry or myself on that. And at that point, I'll introduce Larry, who's the president of ISSA.
Thank you. My name is Larry Moore. I'm the president of the Austin chapter of the Information Systems Security Association. The ISSA chapter is one of the oldest security groups in the city. I think we formed around 2000, was it?
Before that.
Or 1998 or 2000. And what we do is cover information security from a very broad perspective. We will talk, our topics range from anything from technical, legislative, governance, auditing, anything related to information security. In fact, Vern gave a great presentation on using engineering to solve security problems, and he talked about historical perspectives. I think it was the Tacoma Bridge, was it?
The Galloping Gertie and the Thresher, loss of the Thresher, and the Challenger were the three examples of lessons learned from security applied to the IT security profession.
Yeah, exactly, and that was a very well-received presentation. We also had another one from Monty St. John of cyber defenses on crime, CHRIME, which was a very rapid type of response for incident management. We have roughly 300 members, and we meet here at the Norris Conference Center. Now, we're only doing this through the end of the year. Starting in January, on the third Tuesday of the month, we are moving to the Thompson Conference Center at the University of Texas. Now, what gives us this, it offers us a new opportunity. We have that room for the entire day. So we are extending training opportunities for all of our members, what we call peer education. One member can teach other members about techniques they know. We are working with SANS. We have a SANS event coming up in December 4th through the 6th. We are going to be there. We are also hosting Innotech, which is a business conference on November 16th. We are hosting the security track for that. And we will have a variety of topics. Sun Lee, who you probably are familiar, she's very active around here, will be talking about red teaming. We have Michael Goff. We have a physicist talking about quantum computing. We will have a registered nurse who is also in the information security space talking about the issues of cybersecurity regarding healthcare. And we have Paula Pierce, who is an attorney specializing in identity theft management, talking about the Equifax breach. So I think it's going to be a fantastic talk. We have about 300 members. If you are interested, go to austinissa.org. It includes a calendar of all the local activities in Austin. So if you want to know what's going on, just go to the calendar, see what's going on. There's a lot of activity going on this year. So I encourage you to go check out the calendar. Thank you.
We just recently had our annual ISSA conference down in San Diego, and highlighted that, besides all the great talks, was a evening event on the deck of the USS Midway, and flying fighter simulators. So we do have a good bit of fun. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce Nate Sanders with Austin Hackers Anonymous. You're up.
So much like Doug said, we are also not a professional organization. You might have heard about us, and I'm here to set the record straight that everything you've heard about how we're a bunch of elitist jerks and we're going to make you do a talk to stay a member and that we're terrifying, all of that stuff is totally true. We do 2-hour meetings once a month. It's about 5 to 10 minute turbo talks, so if you don't like the topic, you can just walk out of the room, and by the time you come back, we'll be on to the next one. We've been around, I think, 11 years now. We usually pull in about 50 to 65 people. Our previous meeting was actually last night, and a lot of us are security professionals, probably more offensive oriented than defense. A lot of talks about reversing malware, pen testing, hardware hacking, all of that kind of stuff. And the better thing that I like to talk about is that 10 years ago I moved to Austin and I didn't know anybody. I was a Linux sysadmin and I was security conscious. I wanted to do more. And so I typed into Google Austin Hackers and wanted to find some friends. So 10 years later, every single job I've had in Austin is because of Austin Hackers. I met my boss there. I've had leads to other companies, to Trustwave, Spider Labs, lots of very good companies. And what's been really great in the 8 years I've been going is seeing other people come into this community much like myself. They were not in security, they were not amazing hackers, but they had a drive. They had a desire to learn, and they wanted to do more and give to others. So our requirement about participation is mandatory. The first time you come, you will give a 2-minute intro talk, and then the next time you come, you're expected to give a full 5 or 10 minute talk. The reason for that is to keep things always active. We want people to learn and participate. And there's a number of people that spoke last night at our meeting that I remember when they first showed up. I remember when they were not in security and they were trying to learn basic things and they were trying to further themselves, and now they do ODA research or they work for very well-known pen testing firms. And so for me, Austin Hackers is not just a professional group and we get together once a month and then we leave and go about our merry ways. AHA is very much family for me. And I think a lot of people that have been coming there would agree in the same mind. So we meet once a month, last Thursday of the month, up at Mr. Tramp's. Again, there's no real formal membership. It's mostly just come, hang out, have a good time. I also can say I found Longhorn Lockpicking probably 9 years ago. We do a lot of overlapping. A lot of guys from AHA also go to the OWASP happy hours. A bunch of our members are wandering around here right now, and we tend to be a lot more technical, but we also focus very, very heavily on community. We've had members that have had personal problems and things in their lives, and we've all come together to take care of them. So.
Well, thank you very much. One thing I do want to mention, we have a security professional happy hour, and the next one will be in January. So take a look at the calendar for ISSA, and you can find out when that's going to be. Jointly sponsored by OWASP and ISSA. So we frequently do work together and put on events that are focused on mutual interests. Now at this point, what I would like to get the panel members to do is to give me 2 reasons, or to give the audience 2 reasons, why someone should show up at your organization, why they should come to a meeting. Go ahead and start.
So last time we did this, I called out into the audience to ask some of our members, but since we have a bigger room here, I've got at least one that I can see, Christina, who's a coworker, who showed up, I don't know, less than a year ago, maybe a year ago, wasn't in security and didn't really know where she was headed exactly, and then within a few months going to the OWASP happy hour. She is now a coworker with me and is learning at web application security and doing all sorts of really great stuff. And like I say, we are a very community-focused group. We're definitely troublemakers and often extremely rude to each other, but it's all in good love. So,
I'd say an opportunity to let loose in an informal environment with other people that share your interests. That's my first reason to come to a Longhorn Lockpicking Club meeting. My second one is an opportunity to get away from the keyboard and do something with your hands, use a different part of your brain. So I've heard someone say that picking locks is like doing a Rubik's Cube in the dark. So you can take that as you will.
The main reason I think people need to come to the ISE Squared meetings is to hang out with their peer group and to get exposed to various topics. I think one of the important things for all of us as security professionals is to have a bit of a broad knowledge about what goes on in the industry in general. And our organization is a great place to come and get that broad exposure.
For the OWASP meetings, I would have to say that, for one, even though we are more focused on application security, targeting developers and such, but we do have other topics that we do delve into, which kind of helps at least get a different perspective, not just from, if a developer comes in, they get to see other aspects of security that that are being discussed. So that is very helpful, and also the fact that the camaraderie and this being part of the community really helps as well as far as building your career.
One thing I'd like to add to that, if you haven't been out to the OWASP site, you're missing a lot of good information. The projects that are out there are extremely useful in the profession.
Thanks. First thing is a broad range of topics. We invite folks to speak on a different topics altogether. So, and it's a really question answer session. You can ask question. It's a 1 hour session. There is plenty of time to get involved. Second thing, we encourage people to participate in committees. We have 6 committees on an average made up of 3 to 4 people, right from the planning to the education committee, you name it, and we encourage people to be part of it. And I'll add one more to that. We do a lot of projects with UT Austin, with the MIS students. Currently we have a competition going on. We form 6 to 8 groups, and there are 4 students or 5 students in each group, and they get a major credit for fall semester for this participation. And one of us kind of mentor them and take a topics which are decided by or accepted by professor that, hey, this topic looks good. They work with us almost 4 to 5 months, prepare the presentation. If they basically win, we give them $1,000 scholarship to that particular group. So you can be part of this. It doesn't matter. I mean, almost I could see the different perspective here. And I want to encourage people from different topics or different areas to be part of it so that the student gets better exposure. Thank you.
So there are a couple of reasons to come to EFF meetings. One of the unexpected reasons is the engagement with the arts community. There are a very active group of people who are presenting plays, doing interactive music activities, and in general, trying to explore how our digital culture interacts with real culture. And that's getting you out of your comfort zone into a fun zone. We very much would like you to come be a part of that. The second thing is, the law matters. We have people talking about cyborg rights. What are cyborg rights? What happens to your pacemaker? Are you now a cyborg when you get that? Do you have the right to actually control it? These are important issues. We also get involved with seminars at the UT Law School. There's a tech and technology session, law and technology session that we're involved with. So we can get to areas that are different than the pure technical or professional or the hacking areas that are part of our bigger world. And we need and want to encourage all of you to be a part of that. So please come on down.
So actually, 3 quick reasons. First off, as our IT services and apps move into the cloud, we're basically providing training and covering all sorts of topics around security moving into the cloud as well. Secondly is at every meeting we provide recruiting information. We work with recruiters about job opportunities and IT security, specifically around cloud. So you'll always see postings at our meetings around the newest job opportunities in Austin. And then lastly, we serve free alcohol.
Follow that, Larry.
Forget it. Here, just give it back. I think what the 2 best things you can get from it, number one, networking. We have a wide variety of security professionals. Vern, for example, has been in it for a long time. Security architecture. I also work with security architecture, some auditing. I have some cloud and mobile payments experience. So if you are looking to get more involved in the security space but not sure what specific discipline, we have people ranging from biometrics, Claire Nelson, who's actually speaking right now, to law. Charisse Casnagoli is one of our legal experts. So you will likely find somebody in the field that you might be interested in and can learn more from that. The second is the education perspective. What we have found out is, despite the fact that some of our talks may not be what is considered high tech, a lot of our high tech members have enjoyed it. I was mentioning about Vern's. We had Eddie Block, who was talking about the legislative involvement regarding security. We had from Oracle, Leslie Ann Davidson, who is the CISO for Oracle.
Mary Ann Davidson.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mary Ann Davidson. And she talked about compliance, and believe it or not, that was one of the best, most well-received talks yet, because she was very engaging and went into a lot of detail. So what you might find from a presentation is it might not be interesting, but we try to go in depth. We require our speakers to go very in depth into a topic and how that applies to the security field, businesses, and the general public.
Kind of to close it out, the thing I would say that is true about all these organizations is that the people that are there are worth knowing. And the opportunity to get a chance to meet people that are, outside of your current experience is well worth it. And you will find people who are ready to help you either move into the career or go up the ladder in the career if that's what you desire. So I'd like to open the to Q&A. If anybody has any questions for the board members or myself. As you can see, I came prepared for Aloha Friday, and after 9.5 years when I was in the Navy in Hawaii, I kind of gravitate to that. So we will soon have free alcoholic beverages. Any questions? In that case, let the party begin.